Hello children, my name is Monda Hamid. Back again, I'm going to take you through science, and we are just going to begin from where we stopped last time. So my good children, in our previous lesson, we talked about the uses of different components of air, and we are not going back there. Now today, in our lesson, these are our expectations. So we are going to mention the properties of air, then we are going to do some practice of spellings and those words that are related to properties of air. Then we are going to carry out some experiments about the properties of air. Now my children, what is our session 1? Our session 1 is talking about properties of air. Activity. List down the properties of air. So remember, as we said in our sessions, I ask a question, then I give you some 2 minutes to think and write them down. So what are the properties of air? 2 minutes. Thank you. I hope you have listed them. 1, air has weight. Can we say that, everyone? Air has weight. Can we say it again? Air has weight. Can we spell the word weight very quickly? Weight. W-E-I-G-H-T. Next property, air occupies space. Now we have to practice the spelling of the word occupy. Can we spell occupy? Occupy. O-C-C-U-P-I-E-S. Occupies. If it is occupy, it ends with Y. Then occupies, I-E-S. So we should know the right spelling of some of these words. Then the next property is air exerts pressure. Can we say that, everyone? Air exerts pressure. Can we say it again? Air exerts pressure. Can we spell the word exert quickly? Exert. E-X-E-R-T-S. Exerts. Then the fourth property is air can be compressed. Can we say that, my children? Air can be compressed. Can we say that again? Air can be compressed. And lastly, can we spell the word compressed? Compressed quickly. C-O-M-P-R-E-S-S-E-D. So you keep practicing these words and their right spellings, my good children. As we move on in our session 2, we are going to carry out an experiment to show that air has weight. Remember, in our properties, we said air has weight. So what will prove to us that air has weight? It is in the next session. What do we require in this experiment? We shall require these things. We shall need 2 balloons, 1 without and 1 with. But before we make it without, we shall have all of them with air first of all. Then we shall make one of them empty and we see. We shall need a stand and a crossbar as we are going to see them. So my good children, I have tried to use some local materials to come up with this. The balloons, as we have seen there, then this stand here, and I've used this just to hold it. This is soap. I know you can also carry out this experiment at home there. This is a crossbar, and I've used the citrus, so we can make this also at home, and we carry out this experiment. So what do you observe here? As you see, this is an inflated balloon. It has air, and this one also has air. And you can now see them. They are balancing. Okay? So they are balancing. Now, because this one has air, and this one also has air. Now, what are we going to do? We are going to remove air from one of them, and we shall see what will come next. Now, I can't tell you what comes next. You just need to observe, and you'll be the one now to see what has happened. So I'm going to use this. It's a compass. Then I remove air from one of these balloons, and we shall see what will happen next. So it is coming out. It is coming out. Remember when they all had, they were balancing very well. So you must be able to observe. Do you see that it is, this one is now overtaking? Meaning, this one that has air, it is air that is bringing that weight. So this one will prove to us that air has weight. You see the other one now that is losing air, it is going up. So this one is overtaking it. That simply shows us, my good children, that air has weight. Because this one that has air has outweighed the other one without air. So for that, this directly proved to us that air has weight. Now, my good children, we are going to move on, and we see this is exactly what we have done here. This is the empty balloon now, and this is the balloon with air that is inflated with air. So you see that this one that has air has outweighed the other one without air. I think you have observed that, my good children. Now, we had so many properties. In our session 3, we are going to carry out another simple experiment that shows that air occupies space. So in our activity, first activity, mention the requirements for this experiment. What do we need as I take these ones off? What do we need in this experiment, the next experiment? We require a glass. Have it here. We need a glass. Then what else do we need? We shall need a container where we can clearly see, so it can be transparent, or a basin. Then we shall also need water. I have everything here. So this is my container. And then there is water. I can even show you. We have water here. So what do we do in this experiment? Hold your glass. Then you turn it upside down and push it in the water straight. So I'm going to push straight. So what will show me that air occupies space? The glass, water has not entered there because the space that is in the glass per now is occupied by air. Now, we are going to, after pushing it, and you can even feel it, that water is not entering. So when we are going to tilt it slowly, then we observe what will happen. So I'm going to tilt, and when I tilt it slowly, you must observe. You are going to tell me what you have seen. So I'm beginning slowly. So what do you observe here? What do you observe? What are you observing? Someone here will be able to say that I'm seeing air bubbles. I think you can see them. Then I can do it again, and you see air bubbles. What is causing that? It is air that is coming out of the glass, and then now water is entering. So those air bubbles show us that air was occupying some space in the glass, and now when we tilt, water is entering and air is coming out. So my good children, that experiment clearly shows us that air occupies space. So my good children, this experiment clearly shows us that air occupies space. And when I show it, this is an illustration. The dots are showing water, and then we have air bubbles. So this one is showing our experiment. So my good children, I want to stop on this activity here. What is the activity? So list down the properties of air. That's number 1. Find all the requirements like we have gone through. I showed you all the requirements, so we are going to get them. I tried to use the environment, just get sample and the balloons. Then you carry out the experiments. Show that air has weight. Then 2, another experiment to show that air occupies space. And now, where do we apply air occupies space in our daily life? So those are the simple activities. That's the simple activity that we are going to do, and then we meet in the next lesson. Thank you for listening.